Welcome everybody to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate when they ate it like we were evolved to do. Today we are showing you an oatmeal recipe. Oatmeals, porridges, all those kinds of things would be in top season right now in our ancestors' diet from the winter until the spring when there was not much other food growing around. The oats and the other ingredients that I'm about to show you here would have been very accessible in our ancestors' diet at this time. So first we're going to bring the water to a boil. Then, very first part of the oatmeal on the bottom layer, we are putting in the nuts. I'm using walnuts here. I would usually use hazelnuts because those are a bit more native to the north of Europe where my ancestors are from, but the walnuts are great too. They are native to Europe. Then in goes the oats. Now the oats is my absolute favorite grain as far as the ancestral diet goes because it is native to Europe and it is something that is very easily accessible today. The oats we get today would have had very little difference from the oats our ancestors have had for thousands of years, and I have the organic ones, so you know the least basically has been done as far as processing goes. Then we add the cinnamon. This is what really gives it the best flavor. Now cinnamon is not native to Europe, it's native to India, but it has been accessible in Europe for a couple thousand years through trade. Only thing is that only the richest royalty would have been able to afford it, but hey, that's okay, we can eat like kings sometimes. Then we're hitting it with just a little teaspoon of honey to sweeten it. Now everything in here is very easily preservable and could have been accessible for our ancestors with minimal preservation technology all throughout the winter, but honey especially never expires and we can eat this whole year round. Now is when we add the boiling water. Simple, but the important thing is if we're going to let this sit for a while, we want to do what I'm doing here, and that is covering it with some foil. So when we let it sit for a while like that, the oats get all fluffy and nice instead of all hard and crusty, but we need to keep it warm somehow, so the foil does that. We're going to let it sit for about 7 minutes, and this is the little Norwegian trick. Some people might cringe, but I'm going to add some butter in here. Just a Norwegian thing, and butter is of course something accessible to our ancestors at all times of year. Then we are going to cover it again, let it sit for about another 7 minutes, and then it'll be ready to eat. But the final touch on this I'm putting is a little jam. Now if it was the summer, in fruit season, I would use fresh fruits like berries and things like that. But this would not be accessible at this time of year to our ancestors, so I either use jam or sometimes dried fruits, and of course organic and as little sugar as possible like I'm using here. So that's about it. Now it's ready to eat. Now, oatmeals are a great thing, and it's a big reason that it's a part of our diets in the Northern European tradition in all kinds of small, remote, rural villages. It's because oats are pretty much available the whole year round, and it's a very nutrient-dense food, and you can do so many different things with it. But like I said, this is just a winter recipe of things that might be accessible to our ancestors, but there are different oat recipes for all different times of year, and I would be making these probably once a month now this whole year. So hope you enjoyed. Do you have any recipes, any ways you liked oatmeal? Let us all know below.